Yeah, first of all, how's Chandler doing?
Yeah, I mean, he came back out. I know he's in street clothes there and said he was feeling all right. We'll know more when we get some more tests early in the week, tomorrow and Monday. But man, got to take that with a lot of caution, and so being very cautious. But from what I seen out there, he seemed like he was doing okay.
Obviously, the offense struggled
Mm-hmm.
later in the game, but we're moving the ball really well even when he was in. What were the problems on
Yeah.
that side of the ball?
I think when you look at it, well, we had a low pass there coming out for a 15-yard gain that was negated. Then we had a false start penalty that put us, behind the chains and just off in the inches. They do a really good job, as I said, that up front of making it challenging in the run game, and it took us a little while to get going, and then Chandler goes. Then we have some opportunities in the red zone that we don't capitalize and never really were able to create, the momentum offensively. And we were looking for that explosive play to get us going. And unfortunately, we couldn't find it until it was too late.
Yeah. What did you think of Danny's effort tonight, and then also how prepared do you feel like he was? What's been his practice rep allocation and that sort of deal?
Well, I mean, he was out there trying to win a ball game. So I have no problem with his effort, and he came in and he made some really good throws, and put us in position, right out the gate to score points in the red zone. Us on us, coaching wise, in that third down situation, was trying to kind of disguise what we were doing, and he did what he was coached to do, and so that's really not on a chance to tie the ball game. Under a minute to go. So, man, super proud of Danny to come in and give us a shot, right? Like, ultimately, he gave us a chance to win, and so all of us have to shoulder, the blame, and we will. Coaches, players, everybody in the program, and go back to work and get ready to go chase our best four quarters down in North Carolina.
Tony, on Wake's punt return,
Yeah.
does the coverage team tend to relax when the ball bounces like that, or what did you see?
I thought they did a good job. They chose not to rush the punt, and so they put everybody in hold up, got some double teams, and the guys that we had in one-on-one matchups were in position to potentially down the ball, and we didn't down the ball. So, we don't talk about relaxing when the ball hits the ground. That's just an opportunity for all of us to coach better, right, to prepare better so that it doesn't happen again.
Did you feel the playbook's somewhat limited when you have Kalen going in there like that?
I think in a ball game like that, man, you're just trying to find whatever you feel like works within the playbook. So I don't think you shrink the playbook. I felt like we found some stuff in the quick game that he was getting a little bit of a rhythm with getting the ball out of his hands. Still trying to stay consistent with the run game, and it wasn't producing as much as we liked early on. We found some big plays there later in the game, but I think in a game like that. You're just trying to find, whatever you can to spark the offense, and so I wouldn't say that the playbook was limited because Danny takes reps, every day in practice, just like the stars, and we alternate groups, from time to time. So I think it was more a function of we never really could establish a rhythm offensively, and then when we did, we'd have some things that we can control that we didn't take advantage of.
You guys had not given up a fumble all season,
Yep.
only one of two FBS teams to do that, coughed up 3 times tonight. How crucial was ball security in the outcome of the game tonight?
Oh, it's pivotal. I mean, I think they got 6 points off of the fumbles, right? So 6 points off the fumbles and 7 points off of a punt return. So special teams and ball security, and we've been preaching it. And sometimes we gotta learn. And I think these guys got an opportunity to learn. I don't think anybody was trying to put the ball on the ground. The ball got knocked out of Danny's hands when he's getting ready to pass, and he's going to get blamed for that. But we got to strain a little bit harder to make sure that the protection is cleaner so he can get that ball off. And then, man, Jamari's fighting, and guy made a heck of a play. He's going down to the ground. So we got to go back to work. And now, where we are late in the season when we do our drill work, man, we just got to be intentional. with everything that we're doing. But uncharacteristic for us to put the ball on the ground and then not get any turnovers. We had several games defensively where we generated some turnovers, and we didn't do great on third down. We didn't capitalize. You think about now it's going to be a great opportunity to teach and for everybody to really learn. Those touchdowns in the red zone. When we talk about touchdowns in the red zone, you got 2 field goals, you get 2 touchdowns in those situations after the block punt, and then for the big long run down there, if you get 2 touchdowns, that's 8 points, that you left out on the field, as opposed to the 6 points that you got, right? So now it's a totally different ball game.
On that last drive, I just wanted to ask about the usage of that last timeout. What went into that? What were you seeing from Wake? What were you seeing from your guys?
Yeah. So what went into the last timeout that we used is the ball was caught under the sticks, right? And so I think I can't even remember how, was it 36 seconds or something like that? I think it was 36 seconds. If we don't call the timeout there, by the time they spot the ball and get your best call in, then you're probably going to run another 15, 18 seconds off the clock, and then now you're inside of 20. So it was, hey, let's stop the clock, get our best call in, try to get the first down, clock will stop again, and then we'll be ready to roll. So it was really just trying to save as many seconds. Now, had that been a first down, right, if it was a first down game, then we wouldn't call the timeout right there because the clock would stop for the change to set, and we'd have an opportunity to get the best call in because, and then it was a down and distance situation. Your tempo calls are probably not your ideal calls in some of those situations. So it was really just to try and save some time and get us our best play call.
Yeah, defensively, Coach, you mentioned no sacks, no turnovers, but obviously only 9 points for them offensively. What did you think of the defensive effort, even though it didn't?
Oh man, they responded to some field position challenges with holding them to field goals. They got off the field in some situations. I think we stopped them down inside the goal line on 4th down, so we stopped. Goal line stand. So they did their part to kind of keep us within striking range, and unfortunately we didn't play complimentary football to be able to put enough points up to win.
Tony, running a fade on that last play, was that the original plan for the play before, and because you had to go no huddle, you ran with it, or did y'all feel confident that your receiver would come down with it on a 50-50?
No, you got either ors for zone and man, right? And that's just kind of where it took the progression on that ball over there.
Have you reminded your players what is still out there despite this?
Oh yeah. So I talked to them in the locker room and I told them that all of our goals that we started the season with are still out there, right? We never had a goal that said we wanted to go undefeated in the ACC, right? Our goal is to win the conference championship and to win the state championship, and we still have an opportunity ahead of us with the next two ball games. So let's not let this beat us twice. We got humble pie. Coaches, players, all of us, we gotta own it. We gotta, go back to work, figure out where we can get better, and stay together because we still got everything ahead of us.
Would you have kicked or gone for 2?
I probably would have kicked. I would have kicked and tied it up the way defense was playing, and see can we get it to overtime. I wouldn't have. I would have kicked that right there and then played it out, especially with the way the defense was playing.
Tony, it's tough in that situation for your guys not to be discouraged, right? What was your message to them? How deflated were they? Because you guys have been on the right side of these kinds of things all season long. What was it like for them to go through this, and what was your message to them?
Yeah, they're hurt. So they want to win, right? And they believe that they were going to win all the way down to the last 13 seconds on the clock. And I asked them, I said, did anybody not believe we were going to win that game? And they all were like, we believed. Okay, but they're hurt. They're disappointed. But I think that they're a group that'll respond. The biggest challenge is stay inside out because, I know we're talking about a loss right now, but where we're at is because we stayed inside out, we stayed together, and we've responded. And that's really what, to me, the heart of a champion is. When you have defeat, you can respond quickly. And biggest challenge for me and the staff is to make sure that we don't allow this to beat us twice. right? Because, we start to now fracture and listen to outside voices and do all that kind of stuff. And, we played with fire, right? And we got burned. We kept it close when we didn't necessarily have to, right? And we turned the ball over in some critical situations. And I'm not discrediting Wake, man. They played their butts off, and man, they won a game, and they're well coached, and they deserve. But at the same time, when we're going to look at this film, and we're going to realize, man, we had a lot of opportunities that we didn't capitalize, we didn't take advantage of, and eventually in the month of November, right? That's what's going to happen. And again, we're kind of in a little bit of a new frontier. I've been talking a lot about the importance of games in the month of November and how close they are and how the margin for error is very, very small. And so obviously I got to do a better job of making sure that they truly understand that, so that they're prepared to go out and perform, so they don't, put themselves in jeopardy anymore.
Yeah, you mentioned that the run game hasn't been where you wanted. There was maybe some hope that Brady comes back and things just sort of click. What are you seeing up front? And then can you also comment on momentum of the crowd? You had another.
Oh yeah, the crowd was awesome, man. I really, really appreciate everybody for showing up and staying there all the way to the end. And again, we don't have a chance there at the end without the crowd, right? Like they play a big part in what we do and giving us energy to be able to go out and perform. So really, really appreciate the crowd, and man, we're gonna need them, especially for the last one when we get back here. And now we got to go be road warriors, down at Duke this week. But it was huge, and hey, Jamari was 2 yards from 100. He was. I mean, we got what do we have? 164. What was it? Like 164, we found some big runs there, right? It hasn't been as efficient, as I like, especially in first and second down when we can get. But I think people are going to gear up to stop the run, but we got to strain a little bit better and go back to work. Man, backs got to fall forward, and I think that's what we were doing earlier. And we got to make sure that we're not swinging for the fence and trying to hit the home run and taking the base hits. So we're going to get back to work. We're going to strain and get better. But I have noticed over the last couple of weeks it has started to improve relative to a couple of weeks before that.